Beloved heart, before we begin, I have a special gift for you. If you've been feeling the intensity of Earth's rising plasma light codes and want to stay centered in your body and heart and energy field, I've created a free light language quantum grounding activation just for you. This transmission will help you stabilize, integrate, and align with the new frequencies flowing onto the planet. Simply join my mailing list. See the link that's in the show notes to receive instant access. Let's ground into the light together. This is the transfiguration of the new you. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my podcast, Ascended Earth. We have a very special guest here with us. Her name is Sibyl Harmony. And she is a clairvoyant and intuitive. She's a psychic and a medium. She does these amazing channel information on her YouTube channel on tarot reading. And I'm so excited to have her here with us right now. So welcome, Sibyl, to the podcast and to, this episode and sharing your wisdom and your information, your light and your wonderful energy. And just to kind of, get into like the episode and the conversations, let's start off with understanding what led you into like all of this kind of work. You can share a backstory on that.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Monica, for having me. I'm so excited to be here. And I'm just sending everybody so much love right now. I'm sending Samadhi. It's a spiritual energy coming from my heart chakra that I learned from some energy healers and shamans, my travels and studies. So I always felt like a child that I wanted to help people. And I felt like I wanted to love a child the way that I didn't feel loved. And I think that was my loving my own inner child and loving other people's inner child. I feel like love is the energy that heals us, that everybody's looking for. And well, to back up even further before that, I always felt really connected to nature spirits. I had flashes of past lives, even though I didn't really know what they were. But I know the Native Americans believe in nature spirits, and the Irish, with the those. So I thought it was kind of just like my parents just thought it was just kind of fun, or like Walt Disney or something. I didn't know that, if people believed in that or not. But I actually saw them and kind of played with them. A voice talked to me when I was really about 5 or 6, and it was the sun talking to me, and it said, "You're not alone." And I was just a little kid, so I was just like, okay. I didn't think anything was weird or scary with that. Later, I found out, I asked my father, "Why did you name me Sibyl?" Because it's actually a title. The 7 Sibyls foretold of the coming of Christ, and there were Sibyls at the Temple Delphi and in Greece, and Delphi was overseen by the sun god, the god Apollo. Artemis, his sister, had slayed the dragon or the whatever that was terrorizing the people there, and then Apollo oversaw the temple of the Sibyls. And I actually traveled there and felt really connected. My dog is named Apollo now, but interesting that the sun god talked to me. And I had other, just kind of flashbacks of past lives, but I didn't really know what it was until I do past life regression work as well. I'm trained in that. And then I started connecting it to past lives. And I've always just been really interested in astrology and numerology and tarot cards and pendulums and anything crystals that was, I just felt like, gosh, I just want to know more. I just want to, and so I guess about my late 30s, I started realizing that my life wasn't working. And I started asking, why am I here? Who am I? What is this all about? And those are questions that people ask when they are starting to awake. They're starting to awaken their consciousness. Because most people watching your show, their soul comes from a realm, an earth angel. They're earth angels, they're goddesses, they're elementals, they're wise ones. And most people, a lot of people don't realize that. They just feel really empathic, or they feel like they're connected, but they don't maybe really recognize where their soul came from. But when you start asking those questions, that's the beginning of awakening. So then I started, after the third marriage or whatever, I was on my second marriage then, wasn't working, and I would do these like surveys, studies, like, what are you supposed to be doing? Because I thought I was going to be a mom and bake pies, and raise a bunch of kids. And that wasn't working because the husband wasn't there. I'm like, okay, this isn't working. So I started trying to heal him. And then I realized they said, well, no, you have to heal yourself. And I was like, okay. And then I started traveling. I hooked up with some local healers. I studied feng shui. I studied, I went to Church of Divine Man. I learned how to do their healing. I worked with angel people. I worked with shamans. And then somebody said, hey, you should go and study with these, like, get some healings from these healers over in the Philippines. And so I went and I did that, and I did some travels around the world and studied with different shamans, and it changed the way I thought about what reality is, or what life is about. And it just kind of, you can, whether you've done that in past lives or not, you can always learn new things. Whatever we learn in a lifetime, we take with us, is part of our, becomes part of who we are, and we can take with us in a future life. But for me, I've had a lot of past lives, I realized, with, healing. And really, I feel like a lot of us are here on a mission to help save the world. Even though it sounds like a movie, like there's the bad guys and the good guys, and we're trying to save the world. And I read a lot of Dolores Cannon's books and studied her. She's no longer alive, but she was talking about light workers and soul stars and people that came here, the waves of spirits that came here to help the earth to raise the consciousness of the planet. And so I thought, okay, that feels like that fit for me. And so I studied her work. And then after a while, I started to develop my own healing abilities. Like, I learned how to do readings or healings. I started learning how to do things my own way. Yeah, so we're here on a mission, and there's lots of souls here with the same mission, and we all have our part to do. And you don't have to be a healer or a psychic or a famous person. You can be doing your podcast or writing books, or just being a good neighbor, or being a friend to people. And just simply by having a high vibration of consciousness, we're like points of light everywhere. And the more points of light on the planet there are, the more it raises the vibration, and it helps us to go into this new time that we're going into. Right now, the old paradigm is still kind of falling apart. And so that's what we're seeing going on in the world. But the new energy is starting to come in this year. And simply by, whether you take classes or do your own healing process, or, follow shows like this, but simply by your consciousness, your loving vibration where you are, you're helping to raise the vibration of the planet. Like, I used to think, oh, I have to save the whole world. That's a lot of work and impossible. I'm like, okay. Then I was like, okay, maybe I just need to save myself.
Yeah.
Because we are responsible for ourselves and any minor children or pets, or people who are very elderly. But I mean, other than that, we are here, and as we heal ourselves, then we uplift everyone around us rather than just being drugged down by whatever, the energy is that, you're a meat suit and then you die, or whatever the energies are that, or people who are super spiritual or religious, but then don't really know how to bring that into, a truth or a vibration that is really, I had that too when I first started. I remember when I did my first reading for somebody, I was so proud of myself, and I walked out of the room. Actually, the lady said that it was terrible and she wasn't going to pay me. And I was like, okay.
Wow.
Then I walked out of the room, and there was a guide standing there, and he said, "You're a liar." And I was like, what?
Wow.
And I was like, I thought about it. I'm like, he's right. I was just saying what I thought the lady should do. Like, a reading isn't telling people what to do. It's
Right.
looking at the energy. It's looking at the messages from spirit and guides, and then sharing that with them. But so now I never tell people what to do. A lot of times people come to me with an issue or a problem, and I'm like, let's get you grounded. Let's get you, like, what is it that, like, I assist people in getting the guidance for themselves, because you have to make the decisions in your life. I can look at the energy and say, wow, that really doesn't look in balance, and how does this feel, and help them, discern. Because really, we are growing up on this planet from being like, Earth is like the kindergarten or the high school of the universe, where they're like, you guys go over there because you're still working it out, because we're kind of a young planet. And then after Atlantis, when we blew a hole in the stratosphere, because some people wanted all the power. And so they had these giant crystals, and they were trying to get all the power and the energy like that. So they blew a hole, and it caused a big earthquake and catastrophe on Earth. And so after we did that, they're like, we need to keep a better eye on these kids, these young souls on Earth, so they don't destroy the universe.
Exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's that's a long. If you get me started, I can talk forever. So that's like a little bit on my background and more.
I love that. I actually really love that. I mean, because that really sets the stage for where we want to get into this conversation, which, there's a lot of things on people's minds also, like listening to your stories, like people are also, resonating with your experience. Somebody may be going through that too, certain like awakening right now. So yeah, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, so what are the signs of awakening? So people, should I talk about that?
Let's talk about it.
Yeah. So if you are a shaman or a healer, or, somebody who's working with a lot of people, a mystic, you will go through a more intense awakening, which I have. And I was thinking, like, why did I do this? Okay. But most people are not going to go through that, although it may feel like it to you. I don't want to discount what people are going through. So most people go through this feeling of, like I talked about before, of like this, like, who am I? Why am I here? What is this all about? They start thinking about, wait a minute, what's the truth, or what's the meaning of life? Okay, so you may see numbers on clocks or license plates. You may hear a high-pitched ringing in your ear. You may feel like you have synchronistic events, especially if you're praying or meditating. You may notice, animals or birds coming close to you. You may have sleeping disorders. You don't have to have all of these. You may start to have prophetic dreams. You may have visits, feel like you're being visited, or touched in your dreams or in life, you may feel like, especially if you're asking in prayer or you're doing some kind of healing work, that's going to kind of accelerate this. But so digestive issues are feeling like you need to cleanse or purge the old, or and also wanting to know more. So in third dimensional reality, this is kill or be killed. You know, whoever gets to the top first wins, and it doesn't matter how you get there. It's kind of like the physical world where all the chaos is going on now, and it's about control or manipulation. Okay. The fourth dimension is where we start to recognize that we are spirit in a physical body, that we have spirit guides or angels. We start getting interested. They used to call it in the occult, or astrology, tarot cards, pendulums, crystals. We start trying to dabble around in that. Maybe we're taking some classes. We start to begin to realize that we can manifest in our lives, that because really what we have is what we allow ourselves to have. We start to understand that there isn't any lack in the universe. And then it doesn't happen maybe overnight, like, okay, affirmation, give me $1 million. But it shifts the energy. So we start doing affirmations, we start reading spiritual books, and we start looking at our friends like, wow, or our history, like, was I abused? Do I need to go to therapy? Do I need to healing? What happened to me? How was I invalidated? We start to recognize that we have gifts. Everyone is thinking and feeling. So you all can feel energy, or you get thoughts. So there's nobody that, I don't get anything. I think people think that being a psychic is you're going to see an angel appear in front of you and it's going to give you a dissertation of the meaning of life or something. That doesn't happen. They're usually just letting you know, like, we're around, like a little flash of light. So like I said, digestive issues, sleeping issues. You can go through a period where you feel like you really need to be alone. What really helps is grounding, because when you're awakening, the Kundalini, which is the energy, you know, the medical symbol, the Cossack symbol, has the pole with the wings, the ball on top, and then the two snakes going up there. So that pole is your central channel from the bottom of your tailbone to the top of your head. And the snakes are your Kundalini energy that weaves up. And the wings are your wings of truth. The ball on top is your 8th chakra, where you hold your past life information. So what happens is when you start to awaken, the Kundalini energy starts to come up. And I did a Kundalini exercise that made it come up too fast. And I was just like, it went shooting up, and I thought, you know, women know this. When you get PMS, I'm like, I am going crazy. I'm crazy. You know?
Yeah, it's a very much like the height.
You start to feel like I'm crazy. So I started to feel like I'm crazy, and the energy was shooting up. So I grounded myself. I got a puppy, which is now my dog, Apollo. This was about 8 years ago. And I just went out and stood in the woods around trees so I could ground, because that's where I felt the best. I was working with clients back then. And I remember this one day when I was really having a lot of symptoms. Now, this isn't going to happen for most people, because you're going to have a much milder case, but you could have some vertigo. But this client came over, and they were sitting in front of me, and I couldn't talk. And they said, "Are you okay?" And I was like, no, I'm not. No. And so that's when I got the puppy and just realized I need to take a couple months off and just go stand in the woods and ground.
Yeah.
So crystals are really good for that. And having somebody guide you through that. And now we're getting into, like, what do you do when you have those symptoms? Just understand there's nothing wrong with you, you know, barring some medical condition or vertigo, that you're just going through awakening, and that it's happening to everybody. So the other thing that would happen to me would be like past memories coming up of stuff I needed to release, crying, feelings coming up, like where are all these feelings coming from? And when you open your heart, so the awakening, the first part of it is in your heart chakra and also in your third eye chakra. So now we're going on to a little bit further past the question, but the heart chakra, when you open it, what happens is all the times that you've been hurt can come up for people. So they can feel like, why is this happening? And you're just know that you're just releasing, that you're going to be fine. You're just allow yourself to feel it and breathe through it and let it go, that feelings are coming up to be released. And then underneath that, there is love, the energy of love. And if you can tap into that through meditation or just kind of like calming yourself or breathing or sending and love to your heart and just kind of love yourself through it. And there's a really nice vibration, a really nice healing that can happen for people when they do that, of like, wow, my heart chakra is open. And then the other awakening is up here, where you're more the observer and more neutral to yourself and other people.
Right.
And more kind of in the moment of now. That's where the pineal gland is, the hypothalamus and pituitary, which are all part of your spiritual, they're physical anatomy, but they're also part of your spiritual anatomy.
Yeah, right. Very important psychic centers, yes.
Beloved, if you're craving deeper connection, intuitive expansion, and consistent energetic support, join me inside the Frequency Resonance Lounge. This is a monthly Master Heart Circle, moon ceremonies that includes the full and new moon, and a private community for connections. Link is in the show notes.
Sending everybody love, and I know that was a lot of information. So those are ways to support yourself. So I'll just kind of go on. Supporting yourself is knowing that, if you're having anxiety or you're having emotions come up, it isn't always awakening, but it can, if you have the other symptoms, you're probably going through, because it's happening to everybody. And just be really gentle with yourself. Know that, like I said, ground, make sure you stay hydrated. You also might want to look at the relationships that you're in, and you might start to notice like people that are draining or abusive or invalidating, and you might start needing to set boundaries with people, or maybe not even be around them, because your energy is getting higher. And when you're around those people, you might start to feel like you're tired or drained. They literally are, when people are in lower vibrations, they literally can drain you, or just make you feel like not, like I just don't, like I remember I used to have a friend, I used to go to lunch every day, and every week we would go to lunch, and after that I'd have to go to bed. And she was just, I felt bad for her because she had a lot of problems and she was just complaining and scared a lot. But it was just so much for me. And I finally, said, I don't think I can fix you. I don't think I can, unless like, if you want an appointment or something. This is when I started working with clients, and she was all, no, I don't want an appointment. And I was like, let me refer you to somebody then, because sadly, I had to end that friendship because it got worse, not better. With, creating dramas where I had to go rushing over there in the middle of the night.
Oh, wow.
Because, and all these people were, big groups of people rushing over to her house because there was some made up psychodrama. I mean, it got really bad. I'm like, I can't. But
that's too much.
when people start, what can trigger awakening is the illness, a physical illness, a death of a family member or friend, divorce, a lot of financial issues. These can trigger like, wait a minute, I thought my life was all about, I have all this, like, I remember telling the worst thing I ever did that I really regret, I told my stepdaughter that I had arrived. I had dyed my hair blonde. I had an hourglass shaped figure, and I just made like a bunch of money. And I was like, I have arrived. And I was like, looking back, I'm like, what is wrong with me? Why would I say that to a child instead of teaching her about her own value, about being a person, and what, and how to be authentic, and how to love and care for yourself so that you can be a human. I had bought into, the third dimensional reality of like, here's what you need to do. And I did it. And I'm like, I have arrived. And within a couple years, all that was gone. And the blonde hair dye made I was allergic, and the money was gone, and
wow.
put on weight. I'm like, that wasn't it at all. That was just what I thought I was chasing after so I could be happy. And then I decided what I really needed was love. And so I went about looking for somebody to love me. And when I realized that the love is already inside of me, and that I'm here to love myself, and that if I have other people that support me in that, and they're there, that's great, but that I don't need that, because I was lovesick. I was love addicted. I was like trying to, and the worst thing I would do is I'd pick somebody, and then I'd try to turn them into the perfect guy. Like, here's how, like whine or complain or get angry at them because they weren't acting right. So, I mean, it's just, so that was a huge awakening. I remember after my third divorce, I walked up on a hill, and there was a ring that had a tree that had a ring on it. And I was like, because I get messages in nature when I go out, I ask, and then I go out in nature. I'm like, oh, and Spirit said, you're married to Spirit. I was like, oh, okay. Now, most people have personal relationships, and that's fine, and that's healthy, and your relationships are here to teach you, and I encourage that. I'm on a different path because I'm a shaman and a healer, and that is not my soulmate is on the other side. I finally realized that my soulmate is in spirit, and I'm not doing that. But it's a great way to learn about love and to heal yourself by being in a relationship. It's the frontier, the final frontier to healing yourself and being a whole person. And when you can do that with somebody, it's really wonderful. So I encourage people to, just because I don't do that doesn't mean that.
Yeah, everybody's going to experience something different, right?
Yeah, and we have Valentine's Day coming up.
Yeah, there you go.
I used to belong to the Valentine's Hater Days Club.
The Haters Club?
Valentine's Hater Days Club.
I haven't heard that one, but I like it.
I think it was just funny, and a lot of people would meet other people there, but we were just all, we would just get together and have fun and hate Valentine's Day.
That's funny. It's the first time I'm hearing it. That's cute and funny, I guess.
Yeah. I really got that this show is about love, and that's really what it's about. That's the strongest medicine, like to love yourself. And sometimes loving yourself and loving others is saying no and setting boundaries.
Exactly.
Because I thought loving yourself, I have to be nice to everyone and say yes to everyone. No, it isn't.
Yeah.
Sometimes love says, no, you can't just eat sugar for dinner, and you can't stay up till all hours, and you have to do your homework. You can't.
Then it's like tough love, right?
Right. Yeah. Sometimes it's tough love. Like, no, I'm not, and now I know if people have to ask me if they want assistance with something, you have to ask me. I used to think it was my job to codependently fix everyone and heal the whole world. And it's exhausting. And then people get angry at you because actually people create their problems so that they can fix them.
Yeah. I mean, it's not anybody's obligation to be fixing anybody else. And that was one of my hardest lesson also,
Yeah.
for me is like, I need to focus on myself and my well-being, my mental health, my whole health, overall.
Right. Yeah.
And that's really where the focus is right now. It's not being selfish, it's just that you got to fill your cup first before you start helping someone else from a depleted cup,
Exactly. I used to sit up all night and worry about people, and I work myself into a fit of like, oh my God, I couldn't sleep. I was upset. I was a nervous wreck. And then they'd walk in the door and go, what's wrong with you? And I'd be like, are you okay? And they're like, yeah, I'm okay. Are you okay? And I'd be like, oh, I'm so worried about. And I'm like, I have to, you can say prayers for people. You can help them in ways that are healthy. But I had to learn like boundaries and and now I go to my source creator. I go to creator and I'm like, okay, what would you have me do?
Yeah.
How should I do this? Because I don't know. I don't know how to help this person. Maybe I can't.
Yeah.
And so I have to keep going to the source creator, which is love, our higher self or creator source. And I remember when my grandson, it's a long story with my ex was abusive and my son had issues, and my son married this abusive woman, and my grandson, she got into it with my grandson. And so I finally said, well, you can come and live with me then. If that's not working out, then come live with grandma. And I thought, oh, I can heal him. This is going to be great. And I moved him in and I was like, oh my God. And so I had to keep going to spirit and going, I don't know how to do this. I need you to walk me through this. I don't know what to do. I'd just be so overwhelmed. I won't even tell you the stories, but I would just like, walk me through this because I can't.
Yeah, it's hard.
And I kept going and I kept getting the answer. Okay, do this, do that. And I was reaching out to other psychics and stuff. And I'm like, okay. Then one day I walked up on the hill and I said, okay, what do I do with this? Help me through this. And spirit appeared to me and said, you've done everything you can, and now you need to let go. And I was like, no, no, what do you, no. And I know I have spirit. When you're in the higher spiritual realms, guidance isn't just a suggestion. It's life sustaining. You need to follow the guidance.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I knew this. I'm like, okay. And so I let go. I told him it's not working out. And who knew? His step uncle moved him in there. Wow. Really helped straighten him out. And now I'm putting him through school. So he's doing so much better. And spirit was right. I had done what I could do. And I was past the end of my rope. And it wasn't his path to be here anymore. And that was really hard, but I did it. And so sometimes, I also teach guidance in my classes. I have classes, teaching a class in March on how to receive and, guidance in your life. So that's really when every time I haven't listened, I've been sorry.
Yeah, I've had those
now
cases
I try to help people with that. Yeah.
I've run into those cases as well. It's like, and that's one of the biggest lesson, I would say the most common one is letting go. And I feel there's a part of us that makes it very challenging to let go, of things. We feel like we could fix everything or fix someone or really help someone who really needs it, but we can't do it all, and that's why there's a billion people on this planet,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it's a collective effort. It's about us coming together at this point and seeing the best solutions and really getting creative, not just by ourselves, but with everybody. And I love, everything that you're sharing. We got into like the awakening stages, into the energy healing and guidance, right? And I'm wondering, like, what is 2026 looking like? Uh, why is January starting so weird, right?
Uh-huh.
Why? Because some people are like asking, like, January still kind of has some of that energy from 2025, where it's like the year of the snake, you know. So anyway, if you could shed some light on that.
Well, the year of the snake, we're still in it until like the middle of February.
Mhm.
So we went from 2025 was a 9,
Yeah.
of the ending, and 2026 is a 1.
Right.
Okay. But so that's changed. So we're in the 1 energy, but we're still in the year of the snake till the middle of February. That being said, it depends too on what. Remember I talked about the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th dimensional. The 5th dimensional, I didn't get there. The 5th dimension is the higher vibration where you're in love, peace, alignment, and balance and harmony. And you're not so affected by what's going on in the outside world because you recognize your own inner balance, and you're able to validate or be there in that frequency for yourself. So what happens is we don't just bounce up into heaven, joy, and peace all the time. Usually we move from different levels, but we can recognize, oh, I'm getting down into 3rd, or I'm in the 4th, like the in-between place. And then we can more be in that place of balance and harmony. So we are creating it as we go. That's part of it. Yes, we are affected by the 3rd dimensional reality and what's happening because we live in a physical body. We live, but the more we are in these higher vibrations, the more we're connected and following our guidance, the less we're affected by the lower vibrations. The more we're here in the 4th, where we're figuring it out, we're manifesting it, we're getting it done, we're learning. Okay. In the 5th dimension, it's already happened. So you know that you're already there. And so there's nothing to create or be about, because it's already, it's already coming. You already are there.
Right.
You've arrived. No, sorry. But so I'm sorry, please refresh your question.
So I think looking at 2026, how is
26? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be we have a lot of there's a lot of anger. There's a lot of things going on in the world, like with wars and things like that.
Yeah.
And so that energy is pushing back against the light. And so, but remember, we're creating it. We're in the beginning. This is a time for new beginnings.
Yeah.
We're still seeing the old. We're still seeing the dysfunction. And we're still releasing. So make sure you, for yourself, do your work and let go of that fear or those old invalidation, whatever, and come into alignment with yourself. So you're creating the year or the time that you want, which is in the moment of now. So I'm not really, for some people, the year can be really amazing. Last year was really pretty cool for me, even though it was challenging. It was actually really good looking. I learned a lot, and I did a lot, and I achieved a lot. I manifested a lot. And so this year can be, a manifesting, a beginning, a letting go. We're still in the letting go. And then we're coming into Fire Horse, and Fire Horse is charging ahead. It's going really fast. Actually, January is a time to rest and pull your energy back. I'm like, what happened to the rest? I don't think the rest happened. That's why I was telling my guys, like, why are you saying that January is a resting time? Because I don't think it can get much faster than it's going. But so it might mean, me carving out time of just being like, whoa, I need time alone. And I need, recharging time. Remember to recharge yourself. So I see a lot of hope coming in. I just pulled some cards. I see a lot of hope.
my favorite.
Yeah, so that's the card I pulled for this year. Now, there are
Wow.
decisions, the decisions you make, and we're also letting go of the illusions of the the toxins, the illusions, the old world energy is still here, and that, and we might be looking at that and deciding what is our truth. What is our truth, and what is where is the energy that we want to call in and manifest and bring it, because remember, it's about manifesting. Okay. So I actually feel good about the year, even though a lot of people are saying that. It's like, what happened? It's not starting so good. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same way about the year, that you're saying. It does feel different and good to me, and lighter, a little lighter, I would say. And it's interesting that you say about the illusion, because I was tapping into the energy, and I talked about an episode previously about January 26th. For some reason, my guides kept saying January 26th. I didn't even know what was going on that date until I found out that Neptune enters Aries. And
Okay,
so Neptune is a planet of illusion, right? And about like dreams and all this other stuff. So when you step into Aries, and Aries is like fire sign of like action. So it's like letting go of illusions, but also pursuing the dreams that you've been dreaming. So
I love that.
yeah.
And it's also a time when our intuitive and psychic abilities will be really heightened.
Yeah.
And everyone has abilities. Some people say, well, no, I don't. Well, everyone has, like I said, thoughts and feelings. So everyone has a hit. I'm like, that feels right. Or that person is not being honest. I don't think that's, and so it's about trusting yourself.
Exactly.
Not judging people or going to rash judgments about somebody, but trusting yourself. And like, okay, so what do I need to do to take care of myself? So using our guidance and our intuition to guide through this time is really important. So the energy kind of calms down and becomes more peaceful in like 2030 or 2032. So you got to think long term here. It's not like, so pace yourself, or, give yourself breaks, or.
But I agree with what you're saying. I feel like I was also getting that information that the energy is going to be calming down like 2032,
Yeah.
We are very deep into like a lot of different energies, and 2026 is a pivotal time because of the year one.
Yeah.
So are there any other like thoughts around the year 2026, that are coming up?
It's like, what is it that you need to do to keep yourself grounded and kind of to recharge, to reset? Or what is it now? What do you want to let go of? What are you ready to let go of, so that you can move forward in the fire horse? And how is that fire horse, like, how is it that you deal with frustration or anger that comes up? And your anger isn't wrong. It's showing you that there's a boundary that needs to be set. And you have to be very careful. It's very powerful. You can be destructive with anger, and you can also bring it in and go, okay, wait a minute. So sometimes it needs quick, decisive action. Like a child is running and you're yelling, stop running, there's a car coming, and you need to quickly, grab the child out of the danger. So that can happen. Or is it that somebody says something or triggers you and you want to lash out, and then, like, how am I projecting the pain that happened to me that happens to me. It's like how I was hurt as a child. And then, especially if a family member comes up and goes, oh, and they push that button, I'm like, let it go. I'm going to breathe through this. I'm slow to anger. And then if they get me at a bad moment, they'll be like, keep pushing that. I'm like, instead of dealing with it like, yelling at them, Then they're like, you're out of control, you're angry. And then it becomes about how I responded or reacted. I respond to them by saying, let me let you know something here. I'm not okay with this. And so I'm able to respond to a situation rather than to be into a reaction where I end up just getting angry and turning my face is red, and then I don't feel, and then I can beat myself up and do a therapy healing session about why I did that or blame them for this or that, when that wasn't maybe their intention at all. They just said something that was because of whatever was going on with them. You see what I'm saying? So so once again, so I step back and I ask for guidance. I'm like, okay, what do you want? Sometimes that guidance needs to be like lickety split, but a lot of times it can be like, okay, wait a minute, let's not, jump off the cliff here. Let's go, okay, how do I handle this in a way that empowers me or that brings healing to everybody involved? Do I need to pray for the other person? Even though I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like my guides would be like, yes, you do. Because, so, but you see, does that make sense to you? It's like, how are you creating and dealing with your feelings and dealing with the energies that are coming up and the things that you want to cleanse? And if you ask life to show you, what do you want me to let go of? You'll find out. Yeah. It just pay attention. It will come to you in a dream or a vision or a circumstance and go, oh yeah, this issue, that thing. Okay. And it's not really like you have to go looking for it too hard, because it'll be right in your face this year. And then you can, especially in this time now, but yeah,
definitely. So we're coming here to like a wrap, to maybe you could share some final thoughts. First, I just want to mention to the audience that they could find all your information in the show notes as ways to get in touch with you, with Sibyl. So go to the show notes and find her YouTube channel. She has a lot of great content on there about, a lot of different readings. And I love the tarot reading and the mixtures that you have with astrology. And also the website, right? If you have like other courses and services on there that you can support people one-on-one as well. All that information is there in the show notes.
Yeah, so, I do personal readings. It's on Sibyl Harmony. Oh yeah, you said that there. Yeah. So my closing thoughts would be, remember to breathe and to love yourself. That in the end, the only thing that really matters is love. Is how you love yourself and love others. And that is the strongest. We're on the planet, love planet. That's the strongest medicine here. So, drop in and love yourself. And I'm sending you so much love and peace and harmony.
Thank you so much for this message, Sibyl, for sharing your wisdom and your light with us, for being a guest here. And thank you to the audience for taking the time to listen to this as well. But so appreciate you, Sibyl.
I appreciate you. This was amazing. Thank you for having me. This was awesome. I love this show.
Oh, awesome. Thank you for liking it.
If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to click like, save, and share with others so they can also experience what you just experienced. And stay tuned for some more high vibe episodes. And I'll be connecting with you in the next quantum field. Sending you so much love.